Thank you.
Yeah, you can't have less than 3 people. That's not an audience. I would
Okay.
like you to have 6 people if you can,
Mhm.
but I've had a lot of students have problems with getting 6 people. So,
Okay. Thank you, Professor.
right. And it could just be your family members. I mean, not that they're just or less, but it's not like you have to go out and get some friends if you don't have any. So the students get their neighbors, friends. A lot of them get their pets too, but they don't count as people. And that pet better not interrupt during the speaking, like start barking, 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 barking. So if you have a pet that does that, don't put that pet in your speech. But oftentimes the pets just they just photobomb you. I think who was that giving a speech in this class and their pet came out? Wasn't there somebody doing that in this class?
Mm.
And your pet came out. That might have been my class before this, but yeah, that pet kept making himself. No, he was like kept looking. It was a cat. The cat was like, "What are y'all doing?" Okay, so we got a lot to do tonight. We're gonna get started. I already started the recording. I'll get the attendance afterwards, but we're gonna give you a brief lecture on persuasion. There's a couple of dates that I did change, and I wanted to make it a little bit more clear about that impromptu mini informative speech. Okay, so you may have seen it in the syllabus with 2 different dates, right? Basically, what I want you to do is I want you to critique yourself and your group, right, from tonight. And then I want you to critique another group. All right. So you're going to have 2 essays that you're going to submit into that impromptu mini informative speech for science night. Okay. Everybody got that? I also changed the preparation outline date. It was the 17th, which was the same day I had you doing the critiques. I had changed it to the 18th in the computer, but I never did change it on your syllabus. But now I've changed it to the 19th. Okay, so it's that Saturday. But it's not 11:59, it's 5 p.m. Okay, so that Saturday I gave you 2 extra days for that preparation speech. I want you to do a good job with that. All right, we're going to have a brief lecture on it as well. Okay. Okay, let's talk about persuasive speaking. Can everybody see? Okay. Persuasion is the process of creating, reinforcing, or changing people's beliefs or actions. And the objective of any persuasive speech is to achieve a degree of persuasion. Okay? A degree of persuasion. And persuasion works on a continuum, as you see here on the slide. And you are successful with persuasion if you are able to move the audience from the left to the right. Any movement is considered a win, because it's virtually impossible for you to change someone who is a -3 when they start out to be a +3 in just one speech. That takes some time, because people don't let go of their beliefs that quickly. They have to be convinced and thoroughly. Now, basically, what you want to do is you want to get a target audience when you are speaking persuasively. You want to identify audience members that you most want to persuade and who may be receptive to your message. It's a mental dialogue that you have, a basic give and take between the listener and the speaker's ideas. Now, traditional views of persuasion deal with logos, which is using logic, structure, and evidence; ethos, which is the audience's perception of trustworthiness and credentials of the speaker; and pathos. We use this as emotional appeal. This is used as emotional appeals. Now, this is the one that we see all the time on television, right? This is the one with the starving children and the abused animals. And it's this, the music is playing and it's tugging at your heart so that you can put your hand in your pocket and give them some money. Emotional appeal. It's very powerful. Now, you have to ask, what question are you raising when you want to speak through persuasion? Because you can ask a question of fact, question of value, or question of policy. Now, when you're looking at these speeches on question of fact, these are the ones that I've been telling you for the last few weeks now look a whole lot like an informative speech. The difference is that it takes a partisan view. It gets on one side of an issue and pushes that. Okay? You attempt to establish the truth of a statement. Now, question of value is another question that you need to raise, another type of persuasive speech, where you attempt to show an idea or an action is better or more ethical, correct than others. Okay? And then finally, question of policy, which is basically the speech that a lot of people really give, because this requires some type of call to action most of the time, all of the time. You attempt to show whether a course of action should or should not be taken. Now, these speeches on question of fact. Some questions of fact can be answered with certainty. For example, how far is it from New York to Dubai? Well, we know that for certain, exactly how far it is. But some questions of fact cannot be answered with certainty. Like, will the economy be better or worse next year? These speeches differ from informative speeches by one, what I just told you, that they give information, informative speeches give information impartially. Okay. You don't argue for a particular point of view or not. You just straight give us the facts. Okay. Persuasive speeches on question of fact, though, take a partisan view, and they try to persuade the audience to accept the speaker's view about the information. That's why I've been telling you, oh, never say this. You should do this. You should do that at the end of your speech and your closing, because now you're moving from an informative speech where you don't take a stand. You don't take a point of view. You just strictly give us the facts till you telling people, yeah, this is what you really should do. It's a big difference. Now, a speech on question of fact might have a specific purpose, such as to persuade my audience of 3 reasons to believe that an earthquake of 9.0 or above on the Richter scale will hit California in the next 10 years. A central idea for a specific purpose like that on question of fact for a persuasive speech might be an earthquake of 9.0 or above on the Richter scale will hit California in the next 10 years based on historical timelines, trends, and evidence of severe climate change in the region. Main points might be, we talked about, we listed the history. California is long overdue for a major earthquake, right? Remember, we said we're going to talk about historical timelines, trends, and evidence of severe climate change, right? Many geological signs indicate that a major earthquake may happen soon. And 3, experts agree that an earthquake of 9.0 above could strike California any day. Is it coming together for you how these specific rules, sections, pieces, requirements come together as a single speech? Is it coming together now? You can see where your specific purpose, okay, is coming in and transformed into that central idea, where we incorporate those main points, not specifically have to say include and specifically say them, but in some way incorporate what those main points are. And then from there, voila, we spit out those main points. Speeches on persuasive speeches on question of value. So when the speaker needs to show an idea or action is better than others. Okay, right or wrong, good or bad, moral or immoral. Okay, speakers need to justify their value judgment in light of a clearly defined set of standards. And how you do this, number one, you define the speaker's standards for the value judgment, right? And then judge the subject of the speech against those standards. So a specific purpose on a persuasive speech on question of value might be to persuade the audience of 2 ways the FCC's localism policies can strengthen American communities. Central idea for that would be 2 ways the FCC's localism policies will benefit American communities are by increasing diversity of voices and enhancing local content. Now, many of you, not many, some of you would say in your specific purpose to persuade the audience that FCC localism policies are increasing diversity of voices and enhancing local content. You would say that as your specific purpose. It's too much. The specific purpose is broader than the central idea. The central idea hones in on those main points, whereas the specific purpose just says, I'm going to tell you some main points. Okay? Some people are getting that confused. Okay? The first way, here's your main points and subpoints. The first way the FCC's localism policies will benefit American communities is by increasing diversity of voices. And then I go through and defend that statement with subpoints. Okay? And then main point number 2, the second way the FCC's localism policies benefit Americans is by enhancing local content. See the same pattern of wording used? Okay. That indicates to the audience, okay, she's moving on to number 2, topic number 2, along with those connectives that you're letting them know we're moving on to main point number 2. There's lots of things that you need to do as the speaker to guide that audience through your ideas so that they get the message the way you intend for them to get that message. Question of policy. Okay? Shows whether a course of action should or should not be taken. Now, most persuasive speeches deal with questions of policy. As I said earlier, they inevitably involve question of fact. Inevitably, they're going to have some question of fact in there, some truth. Okay? It may involve questions of value, may or may not. But it's always going to go beyond question of fact and question of value to decide whether something should or should not be done. Now, there's 2 types of speeches on question of policy. There's one that seeks to gain passive agreement that the policy is desirable, necessary, and practical. And it affects the thinking rather than encourage direct action to take place. Okay, it's more so to get you thinking differently, and the speaker does not focus a lot on what you should actually do. And then there's the type of speech. So you have the kind that gains passive agreement, but then there's the kind that seeks to motivate the audience to take immediate action. Okay, get the audience to do something. We want you to do something. So if I give you a speech about voting, registering to vote, and the importance of the registering to vote, okay, I need to tell, and I really want you to do that. I need to tell you that. I need to tell you, what are those steps? How do I do it? Okay, you have to tell the audience specifically what to do. They must be as specific as possible. So passive agreement, you're convincing the audience that the policy is desirable, and you're avoiding encouraging action to support the policy. The specific purpose would be to persuade my audience that seatbelts should be standard issue on school buses. Okay, so we might be giving all the reasons why this should be done, but not so much that you want the audience to do something about it. Immediate action, convince the audience to act in support of a policy. specific purpose might be to persuade my audience to contact their congressional leaders to demand action on climate change through phone calls, a phone call campaign, and petition drives. See how now you're moving them to action as opposed to just getting them to change their thought process. Policy issues that must be addressed. Okay. The need, the plan, and the practicality. Okay. So for the need, it really depends on your audience. How much time you're going to spend on that? Because if you're giving a speech to college students that the tuition at Mercer County College should not be increased, you think you're going to need a lot of time spent on that need? If your target audience are your classmates, your college mates? Think so? Yes? No? Make sure you're paying attention to me, because some of the questions I'm getting, it's obvious everybody's not paying attention. Okay. What's the problem that requires change from the current policy? As well, you could say, we don't need change. So if you're advocating for change, you need to show that there's a need for change. If you're advocating for no change, you need to show that there's no need for change. Now, your plan. What's the plan to solve the problem with current policy? What is your plan? You have to develop a plan. And then finally, the plan must be practical. Whatever it is, you have to decide if you have a need for change. Okay, you come up with a plan. You need to make certain that the plan will solve the problem. You have to tell us, how's the plan going to solve the problem? It needs to be practical. If you say there's no need for change, now you're going to tell us how this new plan will just create new problems. All right. Now, there's organizational methods that usually are particular to persuasive speeches. Problem solution order, right? Problem cause solution order. Comparative advantages, and Monroe's motivated sequence. Next week, we're going to focus on some Monroe's motivated sequence. But for problem solution, organizational pattern of organization for your speech, main point one, documents existence of problems. Okay, it tells you why, what are these problems, like what's going on. And main point two presents the actual solution. Problem cause, same thing with main point number one, define the problem, what's going on. Main point number two, cause, analyzes the cause of the problem. Okay, so you can say what the problem is and what the solution is if it's a problem solution, or problem cause solution. Okay, and then number three, it says two, but it should say three, that's an error. Presents the solution to the problem. To persuade my audience of 3 actions required to deal with the problem of childhood obesity. And you see here, they tell you what the problem is, tell you the 2 major causes, and what we need to do to solve the problem. Comparative advantages is when each main point explains why one solution is preferable to another. And I saw a couple of speech topics where I think somebody was saying something about vaping is better. I think somebody talked about electric cars being better than fuel cars. You could use a comparative advantage. It depends on what angle you're trying to come from. So a comparative advantage specific purpose might be to persuade my audience that automakers should put greater emphasis on developing hydrogen fuel cell cars than gas electric cars. Okay. Central idea for a specific purpose like that might be hydrogen fuel cell vehicles are a better alternative than gas hybrid cars because they don't use gasoline and their emissions are eco-friendly. Okay. A speech like this, do you think it's going to be immediate call to action on something? Or is this one of those passive agreements? More passive agreement, right? We're not actually making any cars. Okay, main point might be unlike hybrid cars, hydrogen cars run entirely without gasoline. Unlike hybrid cars, hydrogen cars do not emit any air polluting exhaust. Okay, and then in Monroe's motivated sequence, it's a 5 point sequence that you need to follow, gain the audience's attention, show the need for change, provide the solution, enhance the solution by visualizing benefits. Okay, this is one thing that you will see that you don't see in the others. And then action, urge the action for solution. Okay, persuasion. Again, those persuasive preparation outlines are due on July 19th. Okay, and that impromptu informative mini science night, that's what we're doing tonight and getting ready to put you in your groups. And you're going to have until 10 of, and then we'll come back and we'll deliver those speeches. Any questions about your speeches? I mean, about persuasive speaking, I'm sorry. Okay. Now, in Blackboard, in this week, there are some articles. Not what I want. Okay, can you see my Blackboard week 7? Okay. Okay, in week 7, down here it says Science Night articles for group mini informative impromptu speech. Okay, that's where the articles are. So you just, once you get in your group, you can go in there. I did ask people to try to briefly look through them so you're not just spending a whole lot of time tonight reading. Okay, and the articles are in there. There's links, and then you just click on the link.
Professor, I tried that. It was not letting me.
It wasn't letting you?
Yeah.
Well, if it doesn't let you, if you clicked on it and didn't let you, you can always copy it and put it in your browser. That should work. Did you try that?
Oh, okay.
Okay, so you should be able to click. If you can't click it, I don't know if I could do this in here. Let me go out. Let's see, can I do it? Did anybody else try it?
I had to like on the last two, I had to fix the like when I copied the links, I then had to like double check and make sure they were the same, and I had to take some stuff out after I
Okay.
copied them, but I got them.
Okay, cool.
The last link didn't work for me at all. When I copy and pasted, it says like the particle wasn't found.
Okay, we won't use that one then. We'll just use the first 3. Let's see how many students we have tonight. 1, 2,
I just sent the links in a message, I think, to everybody. I think they should all open fine.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Matt. Thank you.
I could be wrong though, but if you want to try.
Okay. So we're going to do 3 groups. So that way at least each person can do something and we can get through it a little quicker. Because now we're going to have to go to 8 o'clock. 1, 2, 3. Okay, once again, I'm going to give you about 20 minutes to develop your speech, work on it. You need 2 to 3 main points, of course, right? You can divide up the speaking equally amongst your group, but each person in the group needs to say something. And again, we're going to record the speeches, and these are the speeches that you are going to write about in the impromptu self and group. Okay. Then you also have your peer group for, your peer critique for the informative speech that you're going to post the speech itself. Okay. So two different speeches. Okay. Now, I'm going to assign group one, okay, is Angeli, Daniel, Dara, Hal, and Tanya. That's group one. And you're going to take the team one article, Common Solids to Improve Carbon Capture from Car Exhaust. Team two, Alex, Driti, Malika, Raymond, and Rose. You are team number two. You're going to take AI that mimics how mammals smell. And then team three is Jennifer, Matt, Unita, and Zoe. This sounds an awful lot like your regular group. Make sure it's not Daniel. Dara. Okay, it's not. Hey, Jen. Okay. Rose, hit join. Okay. Okay, group one. You know what you're doing, right? You have any
Yeah.
questions? No? Okay.
Oh, how long is this speech going to be?
No
Or
more than like 4 minutes. Three.
okay,
Okay. Like 3 minutes. 3 minutes max. Nothing really long.
Okay.
and
I
then
really
it's the
didn't
same
have a time
format.
for it, but I don't want you like giving me a 10-minute speech on this.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions?
No.
I'm going to bring you back at 8 o'clock.
Doing intro. I will do the one main point. You can. Would you like to do another main point?
Okay.
Okay. And Alex, do you want to do one too?
For a main point.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So let's do it.
Okay. Now, you know these speeches need to have the 3 parts, right? Yeah. Intro, body, conclusion.
Yeah.
So we're writing a speech about the article in question, essentially, or we're all doing that.
The manual AI.
Yeah. You all are going to do that
Okay.
on that one article. Like, you're not going to get some information from another article.
Yeah.
Okay. Brief.
So
Okay.
who wants to walk?
4 minutes max. 3 or 4 minutes max. That's it. Like, don't you this does not need to be something long. Okay. But you do need the oral citations. You're actually got some information, articles. I want to see you use those oral citations in the speech. Okay. However many main points you have, that's as many oral citations as you need. Minimum. Minimum. You go. Hello.
Hello.
All right. So I didn't tell you the time. Okay. 4 minutes max. Okay. No, this is not going to be a long speech. Brief. All right. You also need to make certain that you have citations. Okay. You need to deliver some oral citations because you actually have some documents now with information. So practice orally citing some of those. Okay. Need at least one for each main point you have. Oral citations. Any questions? Okay.
An oral citation is just like mentioning it.
Or oral citation would be something like, say you're giving a speech about highway traffic,
Mhm.
right? And you want to give a citation where you say, according to the U.S. Department of Highway Traffic Safety, in
Okay.
its June 2025 annual report, traffic has been increasing at an alarming rate that will create pollution in the air, something like that, right? But you need to set it up properly. That's what I'm going to be looking for if you're setting up those oral citations properly.
Would an oral citation saying like including the G2 article be efficient, or would that not work?
The what article?
The G2 article on what is artificial intelligence.
I was gonna that I was gonna say like according to the author in G2 published on September 19th.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
You have to be specific. Don't assume the audience knows what you're talking about in case they want to go look it up for themselves.
Okay.
Can be used to capture.
Excuse me, students, I forgot to tell you that you also need to make certain that you have oral citations in this speech, okay? From your articles, from your article. All right?
Mm.
You know how to do that, right? Set up your citation, your oral citation. So don't just say, according to the articles we read today, da 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 da. That's not a good citation, right? Okay. You cite the source of what you're reading. An article published in Science, entitled Blood Observatory to Stop Pandemics in June of 2025 states, and then tell us the information. Okay? Any questions?
No.
Okay, looks like everybody's back now. Okay. Here we go. Okay, group 3, we're going to start with, and that's Jen, Matt, Unita, and Zoe. All right, so make sure your whole face is on the camera.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
I am doing the intro and the outro for our group. So I'm going to do the first part, and then the person who's doing the main point is going to take over.
Okay.
Have you ever gotten targeted content through social media? Asked your phone a question you didn't know the answer to? Even just organized your photo album using an app to delete repeated photos? AI is what makes these things possible, and that's only the tip of the iceberg. Today, we're going to explore the different aspects of what AI is, how it works, and how it's shaping our everyday lives in the world we live in today. No matter how much you know about artificial intelligence, it's everywhere and becoming more and more prevalent. Understanding more about it is becoming more essential than ever.
With the rise in popularity of AI, also known as artificial intelligence, it is not unusual to ask yourself, what exactly is AI? Well, in an article published by G2 in 2024 called What is Artificial Intelligence? Types, Definitions, and Examples, author Amal Joby states, artificial intelligence, also known as the fifth generation of computers, is a technology that gives human-like thinking capability to computers, end quote.
Now that we know what AI is, let's take a closer look at how it actually works behind the scenes. In the same article in the website by G2, AI works by learning from data using something called machine learning. This means more information it gives, the better it gets over time. Tools like machine learning, natural language processing, and deep learning helps AI systems spot patterns and make predictions. A good example of this is how Google Maps learn traffic patterns. It takes data from millions of users in real time to help guide you on the fastest route. Think of AI as a student. It studies data, learns from mistakes, and gets smarter, except it does it way faster than any human could.
According to Amal Joby, the future of AI is filled with both opportunities and challenges. In the future, AI may help doctors perform surgeries with greater precision, support teachers in creating smarter learning environments, assist scientists in discovering new medicines and solving climate changes. However, a lot of people have a fear of AI taking over, but I'm here to tell you that AI cannot outsmart or enslave humans, and however, it also raises questions about ethics, jobs, laws, and how much control we should give to machines. The key will be developing AI that is not just powerful, but also responsible, fair, and human-centered.
As we wrap up, let's take a moment to reflect. We've explored how it works, what AI is, and how it functions in our current society. AI is no longer a distant idea. It's a present reality and an accelerating force. The more we understand it, the better we can shape it to serve us all wisely, ethically, and inclusively. Thank you for your time, and let's keep asking the right questions about the future we're building with AI.
All right. Good job, guys. Very informative. Yeah, I'm gonna clap. Okay. Good job. And you stayed informative. Very, very important. You stayed informative. You didn't veer off at the end because you really could have. but you did, and you did a good job with that. Okay. Group 2. Thank you, Group 3. Okay, Group 2 was or is Alex, 3T, Malika, Raymond, and Rose.
Okay, so for our group, I'll be doing the intro. Picture a machine that can experience the world through scent, just like any mammal. Not just detect chemicals, but actually learn and recognize new smells on their own. For decades, we trained AI to see, hear, and speak like humans, but one sense has remained elusive, and that's smell. Now, researchers have developed a groundbreaking AI that mimics how our brains process sense. This AI is called a neuromorphic AI, and it doesn't just identify the odors, it can learn them after a single exposure. And after it learns them, it will remember them forever. And it will be able to perform in real world environments where traditional AI wouldn't be able to perform. And this isn't just about machines being smarter, it's about making them more like us. The implications for everything from health diagnostics to environmental monitoring are profound. We're entering now into a new era where machines don't just calculate data, they truly perceive the world just as we do.
AI creating new techniques on organizing on smell more effectively in the program. AI system can keep a new technology without forgetting other resources. AI system adds a new training programs to the network system, which creates a new cell in human brains.
Biologically inspired AI can learn new smells without forgetting old ones, overcoming a major weakness of traditional machine learning. This mimics how mammals' brains handle scent recognition, forming distinct patterns that do not interfere with others, allowing AI to learn incrementally and add more or act more like a real brain.
Another exciting possibility with this new AI technology is that it could help us discover smells that humans can't even detect. Our noses have limits, but this AI system can pick up on tiny scent patterns that we might completely miss. For example, it could help doctors find early signs of diseases through someone's breath, or it could detect harmful chemicals in the air long before they become dangerous. It could even be used in space to identify things we have never smelled before. This means the AI isn't just copying what humans can do, it's actually helping us go beyond our natural abilities and opening up new discoveries we never thought possible.
In exploring how biologically inspired AI can revolutionize scent recognition, we've seen how this neuromorphic technology learns new smells without forgetting old ones, surpassing traditional AI methods. This advancement mirrors mammalian scent processing, enhancing AI's ability to interact with the world thought world through scent, not just detect chemicals. It signifies a leap towards machines that perceive and learn like humans. As we stand on the brink of this new era where AI perceives rather than just calculates data, the implications are profound. From environmental monitoring to medical diagnostics, this technology promises transformative applications, making our machines more intuitive and responsive.
Say that last thing again. That last sentence again.
From environmental monitoring to medical diagnostics, this technology promises transformative applications, making our machines more intuitive and responsive.
Okay. When I first heard it, I felt like it was a little persuasive, but okay. It'll pass the test of informative. Okay. All right, I'm just gonna make some general comments after all three speeches. So we'll take group one now. Thank you, group two.
You're
Okay,
welcome.
ready? Okay. So every time we start our cars, we release more and more carbon dioxide emissions into the atmosphere. And with every mile that we drive, we release even more. While electric cars exist and don't emit any carbon dioxide emissions, the production of them and the production of the batteries still release a bunch of emissions. So the question is, how do we make cars we drive cleaner and reduce our carbon footprint? Today, we'll explain a new solution that scientists are exploring, using special materials to capture carbon dioxide directly from the car's exhaust system. First, we'll look at how these solid materials trap harmful emissions as they exit the tailpipe. Then we'll explain how post-combustion carbon capture works and why it can make a real difference. And third, we'll explore the challenges of finding materials that are reliable enough and durable enough to fit into everyday cars. So let's first look at how these materials trap the emissions as they exit the tailpipe.
A key breakthrough in reducing car emissions comes from advances in material science. Researchers have developed special solid materials that can capture carbon dioxide directly from exhaust pipes. Unlike traditional liquids, these solids capture carbon dioxide through a process called absorption, where molecules stick only to the surface of the material. This is important because these solids can operate effectively at the high temperatures found in car exhaust, something liquid systems struggle with. The sci-worthy article titled "New Materials Can Capture Carbon from Car Exhaust Systems," published in 2022, states using solid absorbents avoids problems like corrosion and degradation, making the process safer and more practical. For use in vehicles, this shows that these materials are not only durable but also cost-effective. By focusing on improving the materials themselves, scientists are creating a more practical and efficient way to capture carbon after combustion, helping reduce emissions without requiring major engine changes.
Another option to reduce emissions, capturing carbon on-site directly from the exhaust fumes of car engines through post-combustion carbon capture. Researchers have demonstrated that especially designated chemical solutions can remove up to 90% of carbon from combustion exhaust. However, these chemical solutions, known as liquid solvents, require significant energy to operate, which limits their practically for use in automated industry.
Finally, the chosen solids must be durable enough to withstand the harsh and varying conditions of car exhaust, including fluctuation in temperature, pressure, and the presence of other exhaust components, which can react with and degrade the sorbent material. Researchers are actively working on optimize this material to resist such contamination and maintain the capture capacity over numerous cycles. The ultimate goal is to develop compact, robust, and cost-effective devices that can be seamlessly integrated into existing vehicle designs.
Okay.
Overall, this major breakthrough in material science has led to the development of solid materials capable of capturing carbon dioxide directly from car exhaust, offering a new tool in the fight against vehicle emissions. Post-combustion carbon capture provides a promising alternative to costly vehicle upgrades, and soda lime offers a safer, more energy-efficient option than traditional chemicals solvents. While challenges still remain, like durability under extreme conditions and interference from other exhaust components, ongoing research is focused on creating compact, cost-effective systems that could one day turn every car into a small-scale carbon capture unit. With continued innovation, this technology could reshape the future of transportation and climate change.
Okay. All right, thank you, group one. Okay, so just some general comments. Most of you pretty much stayed in the realm of informative, and that's good. Stay on point with the type of speech that you are delivering. I can't say this enough. Find your camera and look directly into it as often as you can. Now, I realize tonight we put this together. So you had to read most of the stuff that you were doing because you didn't have a lot of time to practice. So that's understandable. But when it's time for you to deliver your speeches and you're still doing that, I'm going to take off for it. Okay. I want you to look in that camera and talk directly to your audience as often as you possibly can. All right. Very important. Check your visual of how you look on camera. Too many of you are showing me your ceilings, this much of your face. If that happens during your presentation, I'm going to take off, and I'm going to take off a lot. Okay? You need to be mindful of how you look. What is your backdrop? Is it being distractive to my audience? Okay, I know we covered this a few weeks ago, but everything needs to come together now. Okay, which leads me to the next thing. Checking your sound. Okay, Dara, we couldn't hear a word you said. I don't know what happened to your sound, but it was not there. So before you come to class to deliver that speech, on that persuasive speech in class, look, make sure your camera view, check it. Once you get on, check it. Make sure you are visible like you should be, that we can hear you. And Alex, that we can see you. When you deliver your speech, if you look this dark again, it's going to show in your grade. You need to turn on your light and let us see who you are. We can't see you. You just a big orange thing there. Like we can't see you. So you need to turn your light on. And so if you don't know how to do it, you need to practice between now and the 28th when you deliver that speech. Okay? You need a light. I told you that before. I'm pretty sure I told you that before. Okay? All right. Vocal variety. Now, I realize you guys are reading, but that doesn't mean you can't use vocal variety. I'm not seeing a lot of it tonight. These monotone voices, delivery, it makes for dull delivery. Okay? So make certain you have to practice and practice and practice some more. Okay? Tape yourself. You can also go into the ultra part of your Blackboard and get on camera. We don't use that. I think the first day Unita was asking me why can't she click onto that. That's the ultra Blackboard. That is not, we use Zoom. Okay, we use Zoom. And if you want me to make up a Zoom for your group to practice, give me an email and I'll make it up for you and open it up. You tell me what time you want it, I'll open it up for you and you can practice in Zoom with your group if you want. Okay. Just the oral citations, some of you did it, but some of you did not. So remember, that's key. And in the persuasive speeches, you are required to have 6 sources in the bibliography and 3 sources cited during the speech. Okay? So remember, the bibliography is different from works cited. Works cited is just the things that you're citing orally. okay, or in some way if you're writing a paper or something like that. But the bibliography is every source you read, reviewed, and used in some way of understanding. Don't necessarily have to quote something from that source. That's your bibliography. Check your sounds working. Oh, and connectives. Okay, one group did it, I think it was Jen did it to come bring us to the conclusion. But use the connectives. They're really helpful in keeping your audience engaged because we can speak faster than we can listen. Like we think faster than we speak. We think faster than we speak. So when people are listening to you, they can be distracted because everybody doesn't know how to listen well. A lot of people don't do that well. They don't listen well. And they're easily distracted. So you have to do everything in your power during your delivery to keep them engaged into your discussion, which means redundancy, right? And that's what though and instructive instructions. So that's what the purpose of those connectives are. Okay. Summing it up, previewing it, okay, letting us know what we just talked about, what we're getting ready to talk about, where we are exactly in the speech, first, second, next. You need to provide those cues for your audience. So don't forget them. Don't forget them. For the most part, you all are doing pretty well, okay? But you have to be mindful that the practice of your speech is one of the most important things you can do for your speech delivery. Effectiveness and credibility. Okay, because if you're mumbling through, you don't know where you are, your audience is going to feel like you don't know what you're talking about. So why am I listening to you? Okay, be very mindful of that. Are there any other questions? I want you to make certain that you go into, I think it's week 9, your teen persuasive speech instructions. Okay, read that before you start developing your speech so you'll know exactly what you need to have in it. Okay. Any questions? I did get that video working that shows how the speeches are so these are the instructions. Can everybody see this? Somebody give me a thumbs up. Okay, how you say you can see it? All right. All right, these are the instructions for your persuasive speeches. And that's in week 9. All right, and Guy Fawkes. Come on now. Oh, come on. was working fine yesterday. Not working in Zoom. There we go.
Get together to celebrate the official lighting of the golf.
Okay.
This is my audience. Remember, because of November. Gunpowder.
Okay, we all saw that, right? How she panned the audience first in that informative speech. That's what you need to do. Show your audience first. And I will post this video it's in week 8. Okay, you can't see it now, but it'll be in there once I post it. Any questions about anything that we covered? The working outline is due for your persuasive speeches. Any questions?
Does the team speech need 6, or do they both need 6 sources and then 3-sided?
No. You just need the 6 in persuasive.
Okay.
Informative is 3. 3 orally cited and 3 in the bibliography. Okay. And I told you about the 2 changes, right? Yeah. So that impromptu is actually 2 things you're doing for one speech. I talk about yourself, your performance, self-performance, as well as the people in your group. And then you're going to pick a group and talk about their performance. And then you're going to do, that's one assignment. And then the other assignment is going to be this post-it informative speech. Okay. That's a peer critique too. I know it was a little confusing in the syllabus. And then if you get mixed up or confused, just send me an email and I'll try to make it clear for you. I apologize for that. Any other questions?
I have a quick question. For the one that we need an audience, what if like you live like by yourself and you don't really have anybody around?
The informative speech?
The one that you need like an audience?
Yeah, that's the informative speech. You have to post it.
Yeah, how it says like you have to have an audience.
Yes.
I was asking if let's say you live by yourself and like you don't have anybody around, like how does that work?
You don't have any friends can come over?
No.
None?
No.
Well, maybe you could solicit somebody from your class.
Oh, okay. I would try and find somebody from my job and see if they don't.
Yeah, I know you know somebody. You gotta know somebody.
No, I do, but the only 2 people I know, they traveled and then the other one is traveling around that time. So yeah. But
Okay. Well, you can do it earlier before they travel, before they go. Can you do that?
yeah, I'll try to convince them to come over. I'll do that. Thank you.
Tell them you'll do the favor for them too. Quid pro pro.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
if you don't have an audience, I'm gonna take off some, but it's not gonna be that, you're gonna lose a grade for it.
Okay.
But you need an audience. That's why I told everybody day one, you need an audience. So to date, you had 7 weeks to get an audience. Actually 8, because we missed 1 week of class, right? So gotta get working. You gotta get working.
so Professor,
Mm-hmm.
we only have to show the audience once, like
Yes.
just at the beginning?
Right at the beginning.
Okay. So after that, is it okay, like after showing the audience to walk back and after, yeah. Okay.
Walk back and give the camera to an audience member
Okay.
to film you. Because
Yes.
that's what we're going to do. We're going to critique you. So
Okay.
after you pan the audience, then give the camera to somebody else or either put it on a tripod and make certain that we can see you. I had a student last semester. She was like, she had the camera on the side. So we got a side view of her and the audience, and it was far back from her. So that she didn't get a good grade on that speech because we couldn't see her.
Okay.
So I don't want you guys to do a lot of work, but then we can't see you or hear you. Don't, be mindful of what we're seeing as the viewing audience outside of your environment. Any other questions? You come a long way.
I have a question.
Okay.
You probably might have already talked about it, but so we just did the impromptu speech, and then we are critiquing another group.
Yeah, you're going to critique yourself, your group members' performance, and then you're going to pick somebody else's.
And then this is due on the 20th.
No, the impromptu speech I think is the 12th. July the 12th.
Can we do it on the same sheet doc, Google Doc, or do we need 2 different ones?
You can do it on one document. Mm-hmm. This discussion is only a 1-paragraph essay. Okay? Just a 1-paragraph essay. And it tells you in there what you need to talk about: content, delivery, organization. Okay? And critique it. Say what you think you did well and what you think you didn't do well and what you need to do to improve on that. Say what the group did well and what you think they didn't do well.
Is it 1 paragraph total, like your performance and the other groups, or like one for each?
One for each. Don't put them together. The first one is you and your group. The second one, so you're going to have 2 pages, right? 2 pages. And it doesn't have to be a full page. Okay, because I'm really looking for quality over quantity. Just, I say 1 page, but I don't want you to write more than that. But it doesn't have to be a whole page. But they should be 2 separate discussions.
I have a question, Professor, for a persuasive speech. It's only that we're doing the outline, right? It's only outline, or do we need full sentences?
For tomorrow, just the broad ideas on the working.
For the
persuasive working outline is due tomorrow.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay. And if you can't get it in tomorrow, then just submit it late.
It says the preparation outline. I could be totally wrong, but
Is due. It says due on the 25th.
You have the working outline due. Okay, tomorrow. Your group persuasive working outline is due tomorrow. All right. Your persuasive preparation outline is due
on the 19th,
July 19th at 5 p.m. Persuasive preparation. Okay.
Is that on week 9, right?
Say again?
Is for your own outline is on week 9?
Okay, you're only going to submit one outline for the group. Not every person submit an outline. One outline for your group. Okay?
So one person will submit it and then just write the name of the people in the group. Got it.
Yeah,
okay.
I know the names of the people in your group.
Okay, so
and keep notes about how people are showing up or not showing up for the group project, because you're gonna grade everybody in your group, and you're gonna tell me what happened.
Okay. So should we disregard the group that was created earlier, and we just use the one that we did for be in the groups that we used for today?
Oh no, you're in the group I gave you when I said, this is group 1. Today is something different. Don't worry about today.
Okay.
But I gave everybody a group, and it showed, and you wrote it on that paper, on that page, remember?
I see it now, Professor. Thank you so much. Now I see it. I get it. Understand. Thank you.
On
the blackboard.
Yeah, I see it now.
Yeah, I see it now. Thank you.
Team persuasive speech teams.
Yep, I got it. Thank you.
Any other questions? Trying to bring it up so you can see it. Here it comes. So you guys can decide amongst yourselves who's going to submit the outline, but you need to get together to talk about it. I'll send everybody a Zoom link tonight for your group. I'll send a group 1 Zoom link, a group 2 Zoom link, a group 3 Zoom link. Okay? I'll send that to you. And then you need to let me know when you want to meet so I can open it for you. But you also can go into Blackboard, right into your class, and on the side, that's the video portion of it. You can go in there as well. Or whatever way you want to meet. It's up to you how you meet. All right, but these are the groups. These are the groups. I'm so glad nobody picked napping. Every semester I get something, and people just want to talk about napping all day, all night. Okay, any other questions at all?
So
good?
No. For the informative speech preparation outline due 7/08, I submitted the wrong thing. I submitted like my personal persuasive speech outline.
For what now did you put it in?
Like for the group project that's due tomorrow I submitted something else.
Okay, well just go back in there and submit the correct thing. You can submit things more than once.
Okay.
And just, send me an email and tell me, Professor, just ignore that first one. We want you to look at the second attempt.
Okay.
I could try to figure it out, but it'd be better if you tell me. Any other questions about what's coming up? I'm looking forward to those persuasive speeches. I'm pretty convinced that these informative speeches are totally informative. I'm convinced. Okay. You all are getting much better. You really are. And like I understand tonight you didn't really have a lot of practice, but you are getting better. And if you're sitting in a chair like me that rotates and you can't help yourself, then on the day of your delivery, don't sit in that chair. You need to be dressed for the occasion as well. No hats. Okay. No hats. Take off your hats. I don't want any distractions. All right.
Professor, we need to stand up.
Stand up, yes.
And showing the
Yes, no laying in bed, no relaxing. This is a formal presentation. Both of them. So you saw how nicely the young lady was dressed delivering her speech, right?
Okay.
Let me tell you something. Clothing and artifacts, okay, are very much a part of speech delivery. Okay, it's very much a part of communication itself. Because if you change, say you change your hair color, your clothes change, people make decisions about you based on how you are dressed. As well, you behave differently based on how you're dressed. So if you got your flip-flops on and your shorts, ready for the beach, and you're going to be a whole lot more relaxed than if you have on a suit or your gown or your business wear. Or clothes have an effect on communication. We don't think so always, but it does. And you don't want someone to automatically think you have no credibility based on how you look. Right? We want to get that out the way right off the bat. Any other questions I can help you with or comments you want to make? Just check that camera, how you look on that camera. It's very important. We need to see your face. And we need to be able to hear you effectively as well, because it's not like it's a video. We can just rewind and look at it again, right? These persuasive speeches are done in class, in person. So you're definitely going to have to practice. Who's next on the video? Who's next on the... And for goodness sake, please don't make a total PowerPoint. And that's in the instructions too. It tells you, please do not make a total PowerPoint for your presentation, because that's not the objective in this class. Any other questions or thoughts?
Professor Kern, can I go?
Sure. Class is over. I'm sorry.
It's okay. All right. Thank you so much. I will see you next week. Thank you for your help.
Sure, anytime. It's my pleasure.
Bye.
Night.
Good night, ladies.
Professor, I have a question. Tomorrow we have to do the preparation outline for our persuasive speech and also the informative speech.
No, the informative speech.
Because both is for tomorrow, I think. I'm a little confused.
The informative speech.
The preparation outline is due tomorrow.
Yeah, it's due tomorrow. That's due tomorrow. But remember, it really was due on the 28th, but I gave you an extra week for that.
Yeah, okay. The team persuasion.
That's the preparation.
Tomorrow, no? Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you,
But
Professor.
if, like I said, for these last two speeches, if it's late, I'm still going to take it. Like, you don't have to request permission from me for the late. These two speeches. These speeches are worth the most. So if it's late, it's okay. I'll still take it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good night.
Have a good night. Bye.
I actually had a question as well.
Sure.
Last week I had a family emergency, so I missed giving that speech about the object. I was
yeah.
wanted me to do that live. I took a video as well. I emailed you, but I wasn't sure where I should
You
send
didn't
it.
get my response?
No.
I sent you a response. Okay. You can't do it again. If you want to do some extra credit, I can give you some.
Well, I didn't do it at all. That's why
Okay, yeah, it's not.
I wrote everything out and I have my mug if you want me to do it now, but I wasn't sure where I should submit it or when I should submit it since I missed the day. It's a very cute mug. He's got like
Yeah, it is a cute mug. Ooh, maybe if you could convince Tania.
She's gone. A second and be to my object speech.
Oh, yeah, that's okay.
Amazing.